Hi, it's me, Sarah from Someday Sarah. I'm back. I'm here today to show you how to make a very simple hat. This is a hat for beginners. It'll be a perfect hat for gifting, for gifts over the holidays. They are made to fit any size. You can adjust them to be for a child or an adult. These two hats that I have here are made to fit an adult. They fit me with thick hair. I would say my head is about 22 inches, and it fits my husband, who doesn't have a ton of hair, at 23 inches. So if you need to make it bigger or smaller, you can do that by adding more stitches this way or more rows this way. The hat is made by making a rectangle and folding it in half and then stitching up the sides. So I'm going to go through the steps with you as though you are a beginner. So also just to show you, this hat here I've made as a sample to show you how you can add flowers, you can add my skull. This here is the skull from my small skull doily. So before it gets into the doily portion of the skull, this is where if you were to just end after the skull is made, and then I have stitched it into the surface of the hat. It doesn't go through. Flip it over, and on the other side is my small cat doily without doing the doily part, and it is just lightly stitched through the surface and doesn't go through. So this is a fully reversible hat. One side's cat, one side's a skull. There we go. So I'm going to start you off, put that aside. What we need today is our yarn. So I have used a number 4 yarn and a 5mm hook. This hat here was used, this was the Loops and Threads Impeccable yarn for the gold color. And this hat here was the Loops and Threads Soft Classic. So they just have a little bit different of a feel to them, but they're both size 4 yarns. So I'm going to go ahead and make a purple hat today. And I've got some stitch markers here in case I need them. We're going to need a pair of scissors at the end and also a measuring tape. So as we go, to know how far we should go along to get it over your head. It will fit this part here is your forehead and work all the way around to the back of your neck where you'd like that to sit. So that's why you would need the measuring tape to see if you've gone far enough. To start, we're going to leave approximately 15 inches of yarn, because we're going to have to sew up the sides at the end. So this is for one side of sewing up. We're going to make a slip knot. So wrap it around, put your hook through the hole, and pull some thread through the hole, some yarn through the hole, and pull tight. And there you have the slip knot. To start off, we need to chain 38 chains. So to make your first chain, we're going to yarn over and pull through. That's one chain. Yarn over, pull through. 2, 3. We're going to keep going until we have 38. 35, 36, 37, 38. There we go. Now, this is going to give us, in the end, 36 stitches. So we've done an extra 2 to count for the yarn up to get the height of the stitch, because this hat is fully made in double crochet. So we're going to go back and we're going to double crochet into the 4th stitch from the hook, which is 1, 2, 3, 4. That stitch right there. So we're going to yarn over for the double crochet and go into the top loop there. So now we have 3 loops on the hook. Yarn over through 1, yarn over through 2, yarn over through the last 2. And now when we lay it out, you can see the 2 stitches that we went up is the first stitch, and then the second stitch is there, made into the 4th loop from the hook. So we're going to continue along to make double crochets all the way to the end, and when we're done, we're going to have 36 double crochets. So this is going to be our 3rd stitch. There we go. So some patterns will tell you that the yarning up, the 2 stitches up, does not count as a stitch, and some patterns will tell you it does. It gets a bit confusing. So for this pattern, I'm going to be very clear and say your 2 stitches up does count for the first double crochet in each row. So you can see here, just to make sure you're only doing 1 double crochet per hole, you can see where the last one was because it pulls a little hole in the yarn. So the next V we're going to go to the top of is this one because it hasn't got a hole pulled through it yet. So we're going to go right into there. Pull through 2, through 2 more. Let's yarn over through the top of the next V that's not been pulled up. Pull through 2, pull through the last 2. And we keep going all the way to the very last stitch. Now, I've been told that I crochet differently than some people. That's okay with me. I'm self-taught. I never had YouTube videos to show me how to do stitches when I was a kid. So I learned how to yarn over, yarn under the way I loop through. I really have to watch myself in a slow motion video to see what I'm doing. But that's yarn over, that's yarn under. So I think that whatever you do when you land with a double crochet at the end of what you're doing, that it's okay. It doesn't really matter for the purposes of this hat. When it does matter is when you're making like the stuffy toys, you have to do yarn under a certain way to make it look nicer on the outside, but for this doesn't matter. So that's a yarn over, which is what I typically do. You pick up the loop, and then I'm doing a yarn under, and another yarn under. So I go over, under, under, under. I've never really taken it apart, but it's okay if you have learned to do yarn over for every stitch. I believe that's more common, so that would be a yarn over. This is awkward for me because it's not, there, those were yarn overs. So in the end, your stitches for this look identical. There's the yarn over, there's the yarn unders. Anyhow, I thought I should just say something about that. So that was a yarn over, and then I do under, under, under. Doesn't matter. We're almost at the end here. And we should have 36 total stitches. If you have 35 or you have 37, it really is okay. Like if you somehow turned and got a different stitch, one off here or there. It's when you have a few off that your hat's it's gonna make a big difference in the size. But there we go. Very last stitch. See how I've gotten to the end? There's the knot and there's the last loop. So that makes for the very last stitch. Pull that through and we're going to count how many stitches we ended up with at the end of this row. Including that first chain. So now to get to the next stitch, what you need to do is go up with a chain 2, 1, 2, and that counts as your first double crochet. Now some patterns will say chain 3 up, but I find with this particular pattern that leaves a bigger length on the side compared to the height. So for this pattern, I will chain 2 up. If you prefer to do 3, you can do 3. So then we turn it all around and we're gonna do double crochets back. So that counts as the first one. So you can see that one will be on top of the one below. Over, and the very next stitch that we go through is not this one because that is the base of the chain. It's this one, and we go through both loops. See, it's a V. You're going to go through both loops of the V. So when we look back, we have the chain 2, the base of that stitch, and it's this one here. Both loops, and there we have our second double crochet on top of the one below it. We're going to keep going all the way across to the end. All right, now we're getting close to the end. We can see we need to do 2 more stitches. So we're going to wrap over, we're going to go into the very next stitch. And we need 1 more stitch after this, but it's not as obvious because it was the chain below. Now, on a garment or a project that needs perfectly aligned stitches, I would say you have to find the 2 loops on the side of that stitch, which would be the V. So if you rotate that stitch around till you see the V's, then you would go under this one, and that one's kind of hard to get because it's around the corner. So there we go. So that is called making a stitch at the top of the end chain. So see how I went through 2 of the 3 threads that make up that stitch, and that would be the double crochet, and that makes a nice straight edge. Because this hat has a seam on the end, is a sewed edge on the end anyways, you can see both sides when it's 2 colors like that. I have just been a little lazy and I'm going right inside that whole chain for that last stitch because it is so much easier, especially if you're working while watching TV or your room isn't as right, and you're using black yarn, because you digging for that last stitch isn't as fun. So when you do it this way, you end up with some holes and bumps, not as straight. So again, I'll show you the first method. We find the V of each of those stitches. We go yarn over, and we go through one side and then the other side of the V, and yarn over. I'll do it that way. Pull through the V, yarn over, pull through those two, yarn over, and pull through those two. So that's the first way. And then the second way, yarn over, go through that whole chain, pull through, pull through, pull through. So now we have completed, just pull that out a bit, we have completed 2 whole rows. So that is the entire hat, how it works. So if you've got 2 rows, you can make this hat, because it just keeps going and going and going, repeating the same rows. This has stretched out on the ends here a bit because I was wearing it, trying it on, and it is the same number of stitches here as it is up top. So when you put the hat on, it makes the shape of cat ears on its own by just the shape of your head. So I'll add some pictures in here, probably up in these corners, to show you when it's on the head, it's got cat ears. So just push that down for now. Okay, so we're back to, like we did over here, we need to climb up to the height of the next row. So in order to do that, we chain 2. 1, 2. And then we turn. Now remember, the base of that chain 2 is the first stitch, and then the second stitch is over. So that's the base of, zooming in, that's the base of the first stitch right there. That is the second stitch right there. So we're going to go into there. Pull through, pull through, pull through. And we're going to keep going all the way across, double crochet to the end, make our last stitch inside that chain loop right there, and keep going until we have, let's see, this hat here. They're ever so slightly different in size. So this hat here had 32 rows of double crochet, and this hat had 34 rows of double crochet. So when you're done, you're going to have a very tall rectangle that's this wide and double the height of the hat. That's going to be approximately 15 to 16 inches. So that's from your eyebrows to the back of your neck, the height that you want the hat. And I'll come back when I have all those rows together. If you want to do a stripe like this hat here, I changed colors because I actually ran out of black. But if you want to have stripes in different colors, you have to change color at the end of the row and work your way across. But for now, we're just going to do a solid colored hat. This one's just the one color. All right, future videos, I will show you how to do the 4 different flowers. All right, I'll come back when I've got all my rows done. All right, so here we are. We are at 32 rows up at the top here. So I have ended so that my ending and my beginning are on diagonal sides. I'll turn it this way so it can fit. They're on diagonal sides of the hat, so that when we fold it in half like that, both sides will have a thread. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this side, the one we just finished, at about 15 inches. It's a guess. That's about 15, sure. And I'm going to feed it through my last loop and pull it tight. Okay, so now there is our hat, and in comparison to our other hats, there we go. This one is similar there, but as I've said before, I stretched it out a bit by wearing it, and I will show you what my measurements are when I fold it in half, so that you can have a comparison for yourself. Not everybody crochets at the same gauge or the same tightness with their hook. If you're finding your stitches are too tight, you can go size up a hook or do what you need to do to make it work. You can add stitches, make it wider, longer. So this is approximately 9.5 inches, and folded in half it's 7. Let's see what it is, the full length. The full length we've got 14. All right. Like I said, you can measure your head on the size that you would like to go from your, probably the tops of your eyebrows to the back of your neck. So this is how I'm gonna do it. So now for this next part, what I want to do to make sure that when I'm sewing up the sides that I land at the same spot, so the fold is in the same spot all the way across, because you don't want to land here and then the back, so you want them to be even. You don't have to do this. This is just in case you're worried about picking up stitches unevenly. So this is where we're going to call it the peak, and we're going to make sure we have the same spot on this side. So I just put a couple stitches in there. Now we've got our end here. Put it through our darning needle. We're going to pick up across the other side. Right, so you see that originally is a chain, so we want to get the base of that chain so it makes that stitch more like a stitch rather than a loop that's pulled through. And then what I like to do is go back to where I started in that first stitch again, and that pulls those first 2 stitches tight together like that. Now on our way up, what you want to do is put your thread through the foundation of each stitch. So you don't want to go through the sides of the stitches, you want to go through where the stitches meet. So I'll cut through right there and right there. Alright, now the picture of the hats on me and on the mannequin you'll see have pointy ears, and that's just the way the square pulls when it's wrapped around head. The ears are not made specifically, they just happen to fall into place, which is nice. Alright, I'm up near the top. One more for good measure. Now I'm going to pull that through, put it through some stitches, and put that in through itself, through like that. And pull it tight. Now we're going to sew in this end. Be nice and hidden because it's all the same color yarn. Just through some loops there. Oops, and cut that off. Be careful not to cut the hat. And now I'm going to do another one up the other side. So again, I'm going to find the base of that stitch, pull through there, go back through where I came from, pull tight, and then go through the base of each stitch on the side. This hat is a little shorter than the other hat, and I feel like the two different kinds of yarn between the they're both loops and thread, but I feel like the soft classic and the impeccable work up a little differently. So the first hat I made had the same number of stitches as this hat. And go ahead through one more loop and then feed it back through that loop. Pull it tight. Sorry, there we go. I think that if we look at this is the exact same number of stitches, and this is the impeccable, and this one is the soft classic, and the same number of rows, and this one works up a little bit looser. Anyhow, maybe I was having just a different kind of day with the way I was holding the yarn. So I am going to find a place to weave that through some loops. Alright, pull it tight through, and I'll cut that off. There we go, and look at that. That is one little purple hat done. Here are the other two, and it's all done.